Hello, 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 ladies. I hope y'all are having a great afternoon. So today we're going to do session 1 of All Things New. You don't have to have the book because I'll go over all of this with you, and I'll post the videos as I get them. Actually a little bit later because we're starting late. They've kind of already gone. But I am getting the videos online, and you guys can sign up also and get the videos online also. So I shared this on my Facebook page, on my Mrs. Oregon International page, that I actually won this. I don't know if y'all have seen that I post a lot about encouraging you guys to join me and to be a Lifeway Women ambassador. And I've won 2 things actually from doing that. The first book I won was to help parent. Of course, Darren and I don't need that right now, but we will sometime in the future, and that is a blessing to have already in our little library of parenting books. And then I won this one recently. And so I didn't have to pay for this. This is for being a Lifeway ambassador. So if y'all are like me, you're on a budget and you see all these great studies coming out. When I worked at Trinity, I used to be able to preview all of these amazing studies. Well, I don't get that option anymore, and so I have to purchase it, or now I can win it. So you guys join me. If you want the link, let me know, and I'll be happy to get that to y'all, or maybe here in a little bit, if I have a chance, I'll post it again in here. So session 1, this is basically just an introduction of what this study is going to be about. It's about 2 Corinthians, and we're learning a lot about Paul. This study is about the beauty in our weaknesses. And I don't know about y'all, but I need that. I need to have a little bit more grace with myself on my weaknesses. And so I love that this study is about that. And so it talks about, well, the introduction is kind of just giving us an introduction of what it's about, and it talks about how there was all kinds of corruption going on in Corinth. The people of Corinth judged Paul and questioned him. The Corinths judged him by social status and the world's standards. So Paul wrote 2 Corinthians out of grief from loving the Corinths so much. So what I took from it is that he wasn't really angry with them, but he was hurt. He was grieving for their hearts and for their spirituality. And he wrote this out of a place of pain and sorrow and grieving for them and for their souls. So Paul teaches us that in our weaknesses is when we will find Jesus. That it's our job to just let God love us, to just let Him love us. Our weaknesses are a blessing because that is when we meet God. That is where God meets us. How many times have you ladies been in such a painful situation, and maybe you even felt alone, and you may have even felt like God wasn't there, but He was meeting you right where you are. And I know in my experience and in my journey, I have seen Him. I've seen His thumbprint on even in my pain. And so He is there. He meets us right where we are in our weaknesses. Paul teaches us to keep an open heart and to love others even when we have been hurt. And how hard is that, ladies? That even when we're hurting, we are to love, to continue to show grace, and to have that open heart, to not harden our heart. And I've been guilty of that. I've been guilty of being hurt so tremendously by somebody, and my heart just immediately hardened. And I love that Paul is teaching us to keep an open heart, and to love them even as we're hurting. And so, so session 1 was basically just an introduction to what we're going to be studying. And again, the study is called All Things New. And so, you know, it's really going to be a study about the old passing away, the new has come, you know. It's going to be about our weaknesses and being strong in our weaknesses. For when I am weak, then I am strong. 2 Corinthians 12:10. So it's going to be a great study. I hope you guys will join me. I have some questions here. I'm going to ask them, and then I'll answer my response to it, and then you're welcome to post your answer to the questions. So Kelly says the gospel is made for real life, and that the church of God is meant to thrive in real life. What does that mean to you? For me, it means that we are the church. We, you and I, right now, standing wherever you're standing. I am in my dining room, and I am the church. I don't know if I said the church or the Christ earlier, but we are the church. You know what I meant. We are the church. If you are standing in your office, you are the church right where you are. That's real life. And it is up to us to continue to show the love of Christ. It's up to us to continue to be that light in a dark world. And so for me, when she says the gospel is made for real life, I feel like she's saying we're real life. We're that church. We are that Spirit of God walking and shining light. And that the church of God is meant to thrive in real life. We are meant to thrive in life. We are meant to thrive in our relationships, in our jobs. We're meant to thrive, ladies. You have that light in you, and it's a light of peace. It's a light of joy. It's a light of love. And so it is up to us to recognize that, to accept it, and to bless others with it. We are the church. So why do we have such an aversion to admitting weaknesses? What is Paul's overall message about weaknesses? I mean, you know, we have a hard time admitting our weaknesses. And, you know, I think that's because we live in a world of of keeping up with the Joneses. You know, we live in a world of trying to one up other people. Social media tends to do that. You know, just anywhere you go, it seems to be there, that competitiveness, that life is perfect, I'm good, don't worry about me. You know, and I think part that's partly competitiveness, but I think it's also part of fear. I think that some of us have been hurt and wounded so badly, whether it was when we were a child or a teenager, any time, even in our young adult lives. You know, I think that we have been hurt, and so then we get this wall up, and we want to appear to be good, so maybe people will leave us alone. And so Paul's overall message about weaknesses is reminding us that, number one, we all have weaknesses, and number two, thank God for weaknesses, because that is where God meets us. Thank God for hard times. We have to be thankful in those hard times and in those weaknesses, because that is when God's meeting us. And so that is what I feel Paul is teaching us overall about weaknesses. When a relationship becomes painful, do you tend to close your heart to protect yourself or keep it open? What was Paul's response to the Corinthians who misunderstood him? How can we learn from him? I've been known to do both, but I would say my natural response is to close up. I don't want to be hurt. I don't need that. I don't want that in my life. And so for me, the natural response has been to give up, to close up. And so You know, if Paul can write 2 Corinthians, you know, because of his love and grief for the Corinths, then why can't I love other people even when they hurt me? And so he teaches me that, like he encourages me to try to have that godly love for other people, and especially those that have hurt me, who have rejected me, who have talked bad about me. I have to have love for them. And I have been very quick to have that spirit of goodbye and to, you know, be very quick to say peace, you know, and maybe sometimes that has been called for, but I would say, honestly, if I'm going to be real with you, maybe the majority of the times it wasn't meant for me to just say, peace out, you're toxic in my life. Maybe it was, I needed to love a little bit more, love a little bit through it, and allow God to work. But I'm growing in that spiritual walk, and so I'm learning these things, and that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to learn. In our weaknesses, God is there, and so in my weaknesses of being quick to close off, God is there, and he's meeting me, and he's strengthening me. What was Paul's response to Corinthians who misunderstood him? Love. He loved them. And how can we learn from him? We can continue to try to work really hard to love other people, even in that pain. When you hear this statement, Jesus came to make all things new, how do you respond? Why is there such hope in that statement? Jesus came to make all things new. Wow. I think the power and the hope in that statement is that it gives us a reason to keep going, even in our mistakes, or even in other people's mistakes towards us. It allows us to show grace to ourselves and show grace to others, and to just know that we're all a work in progress, and God is going to make all of that new. All of the bad, yucky, messy stuff, he makes it new. We have to allow him inside our hearts and inside our spirit to work and to make those icky things new. Oops, got a call. That's it for today. You ladies have a great day. Bye. Love y'all.